Welcome to the Doo Divas Smells Like Money podcast. I'm your host, Suzan Chin-Taylor, CEO and founder of Creative Raven, the firm that helps wastewater industry contractors and manufacturers unlock the power of digital marketing, AI, and PR to boost sales and opportunities. Whether it's through our online marketing and lead generation programs or providing a fully outsourced marketing department, we are passionate about helping businesses in the wastewater and civil infrastructure sectors not just survive, but thrive in today's digital world. Each episode, I'll be bringing you expert tips and strategies to help you grow and succeed. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Doo Divas Smells Like Money podcast. We are here today with part 2 of our series, visiting with Daniel Strohli of ProfitsX. And for those of you who tuned in last time, we talked about trust and the importance of not lowering your price because it's a race to the bottom. And now we are going to be talking about, we alluded to this on the last episode, about the silent killers of profitability in your business. And those are the credibility gaps. And that also leads to, because this is more for skilled trades in our industry, is that why some of your greatest technicians are still losing jobs and you don't know why. And what are the mistakes that are actually costing you calls and how to fix them. So welcome back to the show, Daniel.
Susan, it's a pleasure as always to be here. You know that.
Yes. So the core theme of today's episode is really all about trust, because we talked about how when you get an objection from a customer, it's typically not about the price. It has everything related to trust, and they don't trust you, so they don't want to sign on the line that hath dot. And so when businesses are losing trust without even being aware of it. And so I would like you to share some of the things that you have found that have worked to turn that around. And when you talk about credibility gaps, those gaps that most businesses don't even realize they have. So the floor is yours.
I appreciate it. And I want to say again, it's a huge pleasure to be back. Always fun. And we always get to cover the difficult conversations that most people are scared to even talk about. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna jump into it. So you mentioned a couple of things that I'm sure anyone listening to this, if you're a contractor, if you're a financial advisor, whichever field you're in, you're going to be able to resonate with this. And it's usually going to be something that is a system deficiency when it comes to the actual trust factor, meaning you've been in business for 20 years, you have really good product, you're really high quality. But the common mistake we see a lot of people make or say is that we're really good, just no one knows about us. If more people knew about us, we'd do a lot better. Now, the thing I would challenge you to even think about is people do know about you, but like you speak to them, you have a conversation, you guys go out for a lunch and learn or whatever it is that you're doing, and then they still tell you, I got to think about it. Since they know about you, there's not much else to think about. They should know you and get ready to move forward. The thing that I've seen is most businesses, again, you've been around for 20 years, you like to say you've been around for 20 years instead of showing that you've been around for 20 years. One of the simplest ways to do that is, let's say, asking for Google reviews. So you finish a project and you ask for a review. Most companies we work with will have 1, 3, 5, 7, 10, 12, 30 Google reviews. You've been in business for 20, 30, 50 years, and you're telling me you only have 5 clients. Like 7 people can say that you are who you are. It's such a simple thing that can be fixed that most people just overlook, or they don't have a system behind it. That's going to be one. Referral processes in place. Everyone tells you, hey, most of our clients come from referrals. But if I ask them, how many referral systems do you have in place that every single person on your team uses, they'll be like, what even is that? And I'm like, so you're telling me majority of your traffic comes from referrals, but you have no idea. And traffic's a fancy word of saying how people find out about you, come from referrals, but you have no way to duplicate it or make it more predictable or track it or anything like that. These are some of the things that, again, if you're looking to build trust in the business, you want to have in place. So people are ready, by the time they come to you, they're already ready to go. They shouldn't have to go say, let me think about it. I need more information. I don't know this. I don't know that. And like you mentioned, Susan, all the time, it is a trust thing, meaning they're not objecting the price, which so many people get confused. The price, everyone has capital, or they can go find a way to get capital. The example I like to use is if someone's offering you an airplane, like a 747 plane with a in person that's going to drive it and landing and parking and everything in between, and he's offering it to you for $5,000, you may not have $5,000, but you can go borrow $5,000 or find a way to make the $5,000 or whatever it is, because the value is there. You don't have to go think about it. Like,
Right.
there's, when the value is there, it exceeds the price. And so many people are so focused on, oh, the competition is lowering the price and the competition has this and this going for them, where a lot of times, if you can articulate who you are, why people should trust you, and the value that you provide, the price becomes an irrelevant topic.
Right. And that, that's a perfect segue into one of the other gaps is you go onto somebody's website and it's confusing and you're looking at it and you go, okay, so what do they actually do? I don't understand this. And we talked about this on the last episode about, friend, cousin, intern built websites and, poor SEO and now even more so AEO visibility. And so one of those things that I think, when you talk about those credibility gaps is if I come onto your website, in addition to the reviews and your Google Play, can I understand exactly what your offer is in 3 seconds or less?
Correct.
If I can't, chances are, especially if I'm a homeowner and I'm in a crisis and I need something, okay, I'm going to move on. If I don't understand that you can fix this thing that I'm having a problem with, next.
Correct. Immediately. People don't have the patience. They don't want to be busy with it.
No.
Like, even that's first off, Susan, that's even if they can find your website. A lot of people will tell you, and website is one very crucial component that I think people overlook. I mean, we do shopping centers, so we rent out the actual retail shopping centers between $500 and $7,500 a month. And people think that spending between 5 and 10K on their site is like outrageous, and they rather just buy more equipment to make their product better, which I agree. But if no one knows about it, then you're already behind the 8 ball to begin with. But if people can find your site and they spelled it correctly and you showed up and all those things came into play, then when they get there, people, like, you see certain sites. We looked at a site the other day that was like, the entire site was just like an about us page. It was only about the founder. That's it. Like, the guy was just talking about who he is. And this is like nothing about the service, a little bit. Okay. On the bottom, by the way, if you need help with XYZ, but like the hero section was a picture of him. Boom. That's it. So
you're right. You know what? In sites like that, nobody cares. You care, but nobody else cares. And this is really kind of simple, but your prospect is tuned into one particular radio station.
What's the question they ask themselves?
IIFM. What's in it for me?
Exactly.
It's great that you've been in business 20 years, but how does that help me? And so when we talk about, getting back to the reviews, and if the site has no buyer education, no project shown, that they don't answer their phone, they don't respond to calls quickly, that's going to bring your credibility way, way down. I think about that famous movie with Kevin Costner, is like you were saying, oh, I want to buy more equipment, but nobody knows you're there. No, that's only in the movies, folks. Only in the movies. Am I right, Daniel?
You are, and I have to tell you, it's for when you look at some of these sites, there's so many holes inside of them. Like, some people they did certifications, they have certain awards, they came in #1 in the community. Like, they don't even want to talk about those. I had a meeting on Friday that a guy comes in and goes, I want to dominate the area. And I was like, I like your attitude. You are someone that we will get along just well with. And then I say, okay, great. What have you done so far? And he's like, well, I put signs outside. I said that, the analogy I gave him, I said, I have a buddy of mine that his wife told him that she wants a Rolls Royce. And then I asked him, I said, that's great. Like, she should want a Rolls Royce. What is she doing to get the Rolls Royce? Like, does she work? He's like, no. I was like, does she want to work? No. Does she plan on working? No. What does she plan on doing to get it? He goes, I don't know, that she just told me she wants, like, because he was thinking about getting her a new car and that was her option. So I told him, I was like, listen, someone once told me, don't wish for something more than you're willing to work for it. So there has to be some sort of...
I like that, Daniel. Oh, I like that.
There has to be a give and take. What you put in is what you get out. So I love the people that say, I want to dominate, I want to destroy, I want to be the best in my field. And you may have the best product, but if no one knows you exist, the best product doesn't always win. Pepsi beats Coca-Cola in taste testers all day, every day. but Coca-Cola just outproduces them. They have better distribution centers. They have everything when it comes to brand awareness and everything along those lines, that people just know them more than they know Pepsi. When you think of a soft drink, you're thinking of Coca-Cola. When you think of a sneaker brand, you think straight to Nike. The people who dominate the industries are the ones that are willing to do whatever it takes to own that position. And when I speak to people that tell me, hey, I really want to dominate, but you look them up online and their Google business profile isn't set up. If it is set up, it has no site. If it has a site, it has no keywords that actually rank. If it has a keywords that rank, there's no category in the business profile that says, hey, this is the service that we offer in this specific location. And then there's just a checklist of things down the road. There's no search terms that people are asking that they're answering on their site. There's no blog. Well, blogs are unimportant. Of course they're unimportant. If you don't want people to find you for the words that you're using inside of the blog and they're searching up Google to connect you guys, then definitely they're unimportant. Like, these are just simple things that when you speak to anyone, they know billboards are dead. And it's unfortunate because when people are driving, they're on their phone. I don't want to say it, but it is the facts. So if you're going to put billboards
out, New York, and so that's pretty scary.
I see it all day long. When you take even a taxi around, you see that the taxi guys aren't even looking at the roads. They're on their phone, which I shouldn't either say out loud, but everyone's on their phone. They're not looking around. And like, you're in a great city, you should be looking and viewing, and the younger the crowd, the better. Like, if you're targeting 30-year-old homeowners, good luck getting them on a billboard, or good luck getting them to read a newspaper. They are going to search online and they click the first couple links that come up. If you're 50 pages down the road, you are out of mind, out of sight.
And people are now, they're not searching by a company name or a service. This is why answer engine optimization and enough content on your page, along, again, as we said earlier, with views, is really going to become critical, because the AI is going to really be scoring and determining who is the best company to recommend on the search result on Google.
Even take a step back. People go, hey, Amazon, hey, Alexa, find a plumber near me. If you're not on those 1 to 3 near them, on to the next. Amazon knows everything about you. They're dropping off packages at your house. If you're not on that list, you're done.
And you're absolutely right, because I don't know if you have an iPhone, you may have noticed maybe in the last 5 to 6 months that when you, and I'm not going to say it because mine will come on, but that, hey, SIRI, and you ask a question, often it will come back and say, would you like me to use ChatGPT to answer that?
Correct.
So it segues into the next one. Where it's going.
100%.
So one of the things that you had said offline, or maybe it was in our last talk, you said something very powerful, is that money loves speed.
Mm-hmm.
And why does speed matter so much in trust-based businesses like consumer service, home service-based businesses? What did you mean?
It's a great question. And I would say more so, first off, it matters beyond words, but by itself, it's even a value prop, meaning people are going to work with the guy who gets things done faster. You can get a passport done for free, or you can pay an expediting service. You can go and get an approval for a property, or you can hire an expediting service to get the CO of O in place sooner than anyone else. By itself, it already differentiates you from almost every person out there. Amazon built their entire business off of it. They'll bring you their package to the front door before anyone else, which is why everyone is using them. But the reason why it matters is because certain people, specifically higher end business owners, value time more than they value money. So they're willing to spend a little bit more to get things done faster. And they also know that the people who can deliver fast on a deadline are usually by itself higher quality, just because of the amount of time it takes to simplify your product, condense it down to something that is simple, effective, and easy and fast to deliver. That itself will show a majority of people that this company is a legit company. There is exceptional amount of value of being able to produce things faster than the marketplace, and the marketplace will reward you for it.
And I also think it's like, if you answer the phone faster, if you respond faster, if you text back faster, it's all it. You're right. It's that, we talk about that they're coining that phrase, speed to lead, but it's true. We are now in an instant gratification society.
Correct. And people think
we want it like now. We don't want to have to wait. We want it now.
People think there's a certain level of positioning that when someone texts you in the business world, I'll text them back in a month so they know I'm busy. Where in reality is you're so far gone. If you don't, the most successful people I know will respond within 1, 2, 5, 10, 12, 15, 20 minutes, even if it's a quick 10-second voice message. I had one from a guy yesterday. Like I was shocked. I texted him just out of the blue in the afternoon, text me back 10 seconds, voice note, boom. So it's off his head. He's on to the next thing. And people want to keep the day moving forward. There's certain companies. I had a call with my team yesterday, and I specifically emphasized speed as one of the core focuses for the year of 2026 and beyond. To be most companies says, let's get it done end of week. Let's get it done end of month. This is our goal for the month. I am going to transition that by compressing time by simply saying, let's get it done end of day. Let's get it done end of hour, which by itself will make you 7 times more effective than your competition. If you could get something done at the end of the day, when your competition says they'll get it done at the end of the week, you are 7 times more effective. Yours is done on Sunday. You can do it again on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, where the competition is just doing it by Friday, which means that is a gap in the marketplace that you can completely eliminate or eradicate or just own that position in the marketplace where we will get things done faster. Consider it done. Clients know me. I will send a one-liner text, it's done, or consider it done, where they know, boom, it's off their plate. They can move on to the next thing. People value that level of reliability. And it definitely applies to when they start the relationship. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you take 6 weeks to get back to me, hey, I just saw your inquiry on the website. Do you still need plumbing? It's like, first off, I will never call you again, because if I actually needed the plumbing, I would hope that you're there immediately so my family doesn't drown. And two, I could imagine
water, grab water. You got back to me in 6 weeks. So if I book you, are you going to take another 6 weeks to show up at my door? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And I'm being real. I am being very arrogant for me, it's a justifiable reason. My goal here is to hurt people in order to help them. Like, I hope I am hurting your feelings. I hope that whoever's listening to this hears it and goes, I think that's me. I think I fall into that category. And I think that's something I can go out and change and see a result from without even doing anything fancy. Like doing the fundamental, simple, basic things that no one else is willing to do by itself will differentiate you and change the way your business operates, which people look at it as, oh, it's a small thing. No, it's everything. Like there's a saying I love that says like make every single detail perfect and then limit the amount of details that you have. Like just shrink down the amount of things that you actually have to do. It's so true. So many people want to be fancy and have thousands of bells and whistles and millions of things going on. The fundamental basics are the fundamental basics, or whatever you want to call them, the foundational truths of business. And when you have those down, that's when you can actually scale, is a fancy word that everyone likes to use. It's simplicity, simplified to amplify. Simple, fancy fails, simple scales. All these terminologies, they're not just cute sayings. There's a reason why people coin them, because they make sense and because they've seen results in them. So they just repeat them over and over again.
Wow, preaching to the choir here. And it's,
100%.
you were, one thing that you were saying that, oh gosh, you said why bad marketing burns trust faster than no marketing. And do it right. Absolutely do it right. Because one of the things when we talk about trust isn't built, you said this, by shouting louder or screaming louder or spending more on those Google AdWords, or those LSAs. It's about, as we keep talking about, it's about clarity so that people understand. It's about speed. It's about proof. And at the end of the day, it's all about honesty, because the credibility, if you put those things into play, it's only going to compound.
And people love to scream. They think it's the way to do business. Like, I'll put out more billboards or I'll pay more for ads. Where I remember 5 years ago, I had a guy who his logo was his face, which I thought was very funny, very creative, very unique, very first year in business, but still it was a cute concept. And I was like, why? And he's like, I want people to know me. I said, okay, I can see it. And he's like, yeah, I just scream as much as I could. I want to be the loudest guy out there. And I remember telling him, I'm like, you can scream as much as you want. You can run down the street on fire for all I care. But when people see you, you better have something good to say or they will never talk to you again. I'll give you a quick analogy I always love, which is there's a guy or let's use anyone. There's someone sitting in the back of his house. He's doing his paperwork or he's doing his finances, and someone comes knocking on the door. And he looks at the guy and he kind of like brushes him off. He says, go away, I'm doing something. And the guy knocks again, go away, knocks again, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And it gets to the point where he's like, this guy is so annoying. He gets up, he closes the window shades and he goes back to work. So the guy comes around the back of his house and continues knocking. Make the long story short, he goes, this guy is delusional. He opens up the door and literally just yells at him, like, what do you want? The equivalent to like the guy who just runs around town screaming with a loudspeaker, hire me. He opens up the door. He says, what do you want? Like, what can I do for you? Like, hello, the same way people pick up the phones. Hello, like, what do you want? And the guy says, very nicely, very elegantly, he says, I want to let you know your front bushes are on fire. And immediately he goes from an annoying pest to a welcomed guest. The guy says, "Hey, come on in, help me take out the fire." And he's like, "Sure." Like, that's why I was knocking. And he comes in, they put out the fire, and it goes well. And that tweak is what very few people ever see, because they just become an annoying pest to the consumer marketplace, where instead you want to show up as, I'm a welcome guest. I'm here to help you solve your problems. If you're a financial advisor, you're helping people make their money right so they can leave it over to their family when they need it. If you're a plumber, you're here to fix pipes so people don't drown in their bathtub, or whatever it is. If you're a roofer, you're fixing holes in the roof, where instead of just yelling at people, "Hey, let me do the roof, let me do the roof," you have to come across as saying, "Hey, is it possible that there's something going wrong in your house that you would like us to take a look at and assess to actually help you out?" And when people see how much you care versus how much you know, there's a saying, people don't care about how much you know until they know about how much you care. When they see how much you care about them, they will care about you, period.
It's the motto of be of service first.
100%. Service first, always. And people will feel it. They will see, hey, this guy isn't just yelling in his marketing. He's not just, I worked with a client 2 years ago that their entire marketing campaign was logo, we're open, address. No reason to respond now. No wait. Like, I guess the wait to respond is come to my address, but like, where's the offer? What's the reason to respond? Why should I respond now? Like, anything like that right off the bat, where they're like, I don't know, that's just how everyone does it in the industry. And I'm like, think about possibly changing maybe. And they're like, wow, this is advertising classes. I'm like, no, this is a 30-second conversation that should knock sense into you to understand that your goal when you're advertising is not just to brand so people know, but there should be a reason for them to respond. If you're a smaller company, if you're Coca-Cola, you can get away with a Coca-Cola symbol, so you just nail that brand into the consumer mind. But if you're doing under $10 million, $3 million a year, your goal is to get clients through the door so you can help them, so more people could find out that you exist. You're not going to get away with a logo. You got to get away with a logo, a thing that makes you different, an offer, a reason to respond now, a way to respond, the clear next steps. All you have to do is call the number below, like things of that nature that if you look around, no one's doing. They'll post something simple, look at what the competition's doing, duplicate that, get the same results, and then say, I got to buy more machines, because clearly people don't know I exist.
Oh, Daniel, and on that note, how can people learn more about we're just laughing because
I get passionate about it. I'm sorry, because I see it all day.
No, but you're preaching to the choir, because I see the same thing that you were just alluding to all the time. And it's, what is that definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And so we have to be willing to take a look at what we're doing. And if it's not working, don't be so married to it. Don't be so connected to it. It's like sometimes a small incremental change in your business or your messaging or whatever it is, a process like we were talking about earlier, like having a process for asking for referrals, asking for a review with your technicians, a small incremental change can boost your revenue by percentages that you never even imagined. And so just, be open.
I want to touch on something you also mentioned in the beginning of the call, or not in the beginning of the call, but before we even got on. It's something that I'm really looking at for this year as well, which is if you're a professional service-based business and you're spending a lot of time with a client and it may not be the right client and you figure it out sooner rather than later, you set the criteria for future references when bringing on similar clients, which I think it's going to be interesting to watch this year. I think people will start firing clients, and I think it applies across industries. If you see yourself working with a client that is taking more time from you than every single other client because they're just being annoying or being exceptionally needy. I know that even I've looked at some of the numbers inside of banking companies where they talk about the consumers that spend more time on the phone than other consumers in regards to support and service. They know their numbers. They know how much time the average person spends on support, things like that. I think it applies to every business. And I think the same way when people come to me, I tell them I'll ask questions to see where they're at in business. And a lot of times it's not even the right time to work because they don't know the things that they don't know that they need to go learn first, even find out what the problem is. Like we talk about SEO. Some people just think it's keywords, search terms, a couple optimizations on the Google business profile, and you're done. It's a black hole. The same way everything is a black hole. Like you can dive so deep into certain things, which is why people need to find specialists. And by the time they find the specialist and they think of the specialist as a generalist and they don't know the difference, That's on them for not knowing the difference, but it's more importantly, it's on you as a service provider for not educating them, that you're not here just to slap something over the roof to fix it. You're here to actually prevent future molding or future damaging, or understanding that there may be already asbestos inside of the roof, or there may be mold that may have to be taken care of, or whatever it is. It's your job to educate them before they come on so they can see, oh my God, my roof may have this, that, and the other. I may not just need a patch job. I need an expert. And that's when they come to you already pre-educated, pre-motivated, pre-ready to go. And then you avoid dealing with those tire kickers. You avoid dealing with the pains that take up too much time from you and your team. And it's somewhat on us as business owners. We have to be able to find and qualify those people prior instead of just letting them on. Sometimes it's saying no to money. And a lot of times that's hard, especially as you're going through business. It's just something that most people don't want to do. But a lot of times that is the next step in the evolution.
Right. Well, Daniel, I think that's a great place for us to leave off. And I hope for the audience, you've been left with some points to ponder in regards to your business, or maybe some things that you might need to change, or just maybe not overhaul, but just shift your thinking about it, or shift gears just slightly, and how it can make a big difference. So Daniel, if people would like to know more about the work that you do at ProfitsX, and maybe connect with you to maybe continue this conversation if they're interested, how can they get a hold of you?
So the best place is always going to be ProfitsX.com. They can read white papers on how we help clients. They can take assessments. They can use the tools before they ever work with us. Make sure that what we say and what we do are who we say we are and what we do. Go see for yourself. Like, go through whenever you're hiring anyone, make sure they are who they say they are. The best way to do that is to do research on them. For us, going to ProfitsX.com, you're going to see all the information, everything from top to bottom, from if you're starting off to wanting to grow, and you'll be able to use the tools ahead of time. And that's people that we want to work with, because we know these people already have used our things and gotten results from it. They're more likely to want to work with us because they're like, the stuff works. Number one. Number two, we know that they're action takers. So we actually prefer it that way. And if there's someone here local in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, we're going a little bit more US as the years go on, Texas, California, and you're serious about growing your business, you can reach out to us, social media. There should be email address on the site, a form. You can fill it out, have a conversation via the DMs on social medias, and see where it goes from there.
Right. Well, Daniel, absolutely a delight as always. I hope you, audience, you enjoyed it as well. Thank you for coming on and just having this, what I would call a spirited discussion. It was certainly fun I think it was fun for both of us. Hope you
100%.
enjoyed it, audience. And until next time, keep it flowing. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you're ready to take your marketing to the next level and start increasing sales and opportunities for your business, reach out to us at Creative Raven. We're here to help you thrive in the digital landscape. Visit creativeraven.com or click the link in the show notes below to schedule a call and learn how we can support your growth. If you enjoyed the insights on today's episode, be sure to hit subscribe so you'll never miss an update. Until next time, keep growing and keep it flowing.